Biren Singh has resigned as the chief minister of Manipur hours before the opposition Congress in the state was to move a trust vote against him. Reliable sources have confirmed to me that the decision to finally show the door to Biren Singh was at least partly because a large section of the BJP had revolted against him and may not have even supported him during the trust vote had it taken place. The big question now is, with Biren Singh's exit, has a door opened to bring in peace to the beleaguered state of Manipur, where ethnic strife broke out between the Kuki and the Meitei community 21 months ago? Over 200 lives have been lost since then. I'm Barkha, you're with the Mojo story. Biren Singh, the chief minister of Manipur, is out of the way. But will peace get another chance in Manipur? Or is this too little, too late? That's the big question on the program today. There was some anticipation that there would be president's rule in the state, but there's talk now of a consensus candidate, Khemchand Singh, taking Biren Singh's place. Remember, Biren Singh's resignation comes in the context of two developments. One, a trust vote that was being brought against him at a time when he was facing revolt from within the BJP, but also that the Supreme Court had stepped in and asked for forensic evidence on the alleged audio tapes that purportedly show Biren Singh's role in not containing the violence that broke out nearly 2 years ago in Manipur. What happens next? Does Manipur have a chance at peace? What should happen next? Is president's rule mandatory, or will a consensus chief ministerial candidate be acceptable to both communities? Let me introduce our guests on the program today as we continue to look at what's happening in Manipur. I'm joined now by SK Sood. Mr. Sood has, of course, been a senior BSF officer, and he has a very moving column. He's been following Manipur very closely, and he's a very, very good and excellent opinion piece out in the Indian Express that I urge all of you to read. Also joining us on the program is Dr. Rajesh. Dr. Rajesh is the DMCC convener. Seram Rajesh, good to see you on the program. And also joining us is Gladys Waifi. She's one of the most prominent voices of her community, the Kuki community. Welcome everybody to the program. Let me get first reactions, and I'll start with you, Gladys. You have always been saying that the very least that was required was for Mr. Biren Singh to resign, and that has happened. Do you believe this opens the door for the beginnings of a peace process?
See, Barkha, 21 months have passed, and some of us are thinking, what is the point now? Whether he's resigned or no resignation has no significance, because we all know that, this is like to get away from a kick on his face, because, no confidence motion has to be moved, that just a day before that, his resignation came. So, and also, Biren is the mastermind in the genocide that happened. He and his militia completely destroyed Manipur. And now, if you look at the resignation condition, that he is still a caretaker. I don't understand why a guy who is the reason behind the violence and the genocide in Manipur is still kept as a caretaker. And also, if you look at another things, like alternative arrangement has to be done. And there is no clarity in this alternative arrangement. Is this means that, president rule will be imposed for a short time, and also, Biren and his cabinet are buying time to gain, more support. We don't know what is this alternative arrangement. And also his audio tape, every time the audio tape has to be scrutinized, something or the drama happened. So we don't know what exactly is this resignation going to bring forth to the Kukizo people. And then another thing is, like, the caretaker, will he be reinstated again once they have the full support? So we don't know what exactly this drama is going to unfold. So we have to watch and see, what is the next policy for the hill people and the valley people. We have to see what is the next move. So everything is under all speculations. And, like, it is obviously it's good that he resigned, but at the same time, how good is that resignation? It's anyway, he has to be taken into task. He has to, the audio has to be scrutinized, and he has to be taken into task and put him behind bar. So again, instead of doing that, they are still protecting him and giving him a caretaker position. So there is no much change as of now.
But suppose there is a consensus candidate, a chief ministerial candidate who's acceptable to both communities. Would that be a good start?
Before all those things, in our mind, Barkha, we have to see the security of our people, the safety of our people. A few days ago, armed miscreant looted some weapon. We have seen that in Tauban. So what about the safety of the people? What about, president rule, put strictly and then recover all those arms and weapons that's looted in the valley. So, if the right step has not to be taken, whoever come after him will also be like him, because he'll be put. How do we know he'll be put by him? So this whole changes is not much impact in the peace process in Manipur.
Dr. Rajesh, what do you think? The fact of the matter is that the timing is quite intriguing. At the height of demands for Biren Singh's resignation, the government did not yield. Biren Singh was in fact protected. Now, at least my sources tell me that Biren Singh was losing the support of his own party, or a large section of his own party. And then in parallel, there was the Supreme Court investigation of the audio tapes in which petitioners have alleged that his voice on audio shows his role, his culpability in the violence and his failure to contain it. Do you think this is a welcome development, Dr. Rajesh?
Barkha, no, this development is also very interesting. And yesterday also, our groups in Delhi, the Delhi Meitei Coordinating Committee, we had a emergency meeting, and we have discussed thoroughly that what is going on and what is the next step that the government of India is going to do. Of course, as you all know, that it means Biren Singh has been a willingly scapegoat for the central government, and as you know that, of course, the chief minister, as a full state chief minister, he was responsible on the 3rd May, that when the in 4 districts the Kuki armed militant have actually attacked on the Meitei communities. The police did not come. There was no reinforcement. They did not try to stop the violence. And as you all know, that even the chief of the army have already said that this violence is actually occurred because of the rumor, and as now the fact has already come, and then the Kuki armed militant who were involved of attacking on the Meitei villages in 4 Kuki dominated districts on the 3rd May, there is no justice, but still there is no action against those perpetrators, and there is no agreement. There is no action taken by the central government, that the Manipur state government have already resolved on the Manipur state assembly by all the community except the Kuki MLAs were not there on the last March, that the assembly has resolved that the suspension operation, which is the actually institutionalized form of military and the Kuki militants and the Indian security forces, their jugalbadi, and this has to stop, because but it has
Okay,
not
hang
been done.
on, hang on,
No.
hang on. You called him a scapegoat. Let's go one
Yeah.
by one. You called
He
Biren Singh a
is a
scapegoat. Why are you calling him a scapegoat?
No, he is scapegoat because from the 4th May, when the DGP was appointed, that without the consultation from the chief minister, the moment from the 4th May, actually his power has already removed. And the moment the security advisor was appointed, he was no more a formal, even though in the namesake he was a chief minister, but he was not commanding the security forces. And the security forces were not listening to what he is actually, and he was actually put to defend the home minister and prime minister. Having said that, there is a policy for the now. If you ask to any of the community member or even the Meiteis, also Meitei scholars, they are clearly saying that this war is actually designed from Delhi, and to actually for geopolitics and the Burma policy, that the government of India wanted to some kind of support from the Kuki armed militant to control or even spread their
So
hands
you're
in Burma.
blaming. I'm
No,
so confused. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. You are
yeah,
actually blaming the Modi government at the center for colluding with the Kuki groups for such
no, I am.
geopolitical play. 1 minute, in which Biren Singh, their own party colleague, is the scapegoat. Am I hearing you
Now,
right?
yeah. what we have been thinking and now understanding of this conflict is that the government have a policy, and they have the suspension operation. Under this suspension operation, the Kuki
Right.
militia, the Kuki armed group, they are giving salary, they are giving arm, even though they have been involved in many of the violence. Even the chief minister and the state government and cabinet have already decided to abrogate
Okay,
this
but what
suspension
now?
operation.
But what now? What now? Biren Singh is gone. What now? What now? How
No,
does peace come back to the state?
now why I am saying is this, because even when the scapegoat is actually punished, the real policy should stop. That is the actually intention. What I am trying to put is that the government of India, they have never tried to bring bridge between the community. They have never called meetings within the BJP, between the Kuki MLAs and Meitei MLAs and other. Rather, there has been a secret meetings with the civil society group. The
Hmm.
government will call for the Kuki, and again they will call for the Meitei, they will call for the BJP MLA. So this drama has been going on, and even though the Delhi Meitei Coordinating Committee was the one organization, we have called the chief minister to resign if you are not able to defend Manipur in the
Hmm.
last month. This is the one organization among the Meitei, but we feel that when we met the honorable home chief minister in June last year in Delhi, we have already told the chief minister that you are being used by central government. Whenever they have used you, you will be thrown from your post. So please
Hmm.
defend the people, because you are not listening. Your voice is not listened from Delhi. Your judgment or resolution of the state assembly is not respected by your own party, by own Delhi. And
Hmm.
until and unless the government stops this support to the Kuki armed militant, whether the Chief Minister is gone, another Chief Minister will be implanted
Okay.
and they will follow what they are doing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
my
Okay.
point, the first point is this policy of supporting and weaponizing the community armed militia, both the communities should stop by the government of India.
Okay, two very completely differing perspectives on the same development, which shows you how deep the divide runs. Also, the ways of looking at what the source of the problem is. FK Sood, as a veteran who has seen this situation from the ground, what would you say today?
You see, to an extent, I agree with the last speaker, but I have a different take on that.
Hmm.
Both central government and the Manipur government were culpable for the situation festering for 21 months now.
Hmm. Yes.
Uh, Biren Singh was useful in the sense that he was a screen between the central government and what was happening in Manipur, so that the blame couldn't come directly on the central government. But the videos on whom the Supreme Court has now asked for a forensic test, and a truth lab in Hyderabad telling that the voice samples of Biren match 93% with those uh, recordings,
Yeah.
indicates the total culpability of Biren in the matter. Now, if the incident of violence started with a misunderstanding, why couldn't the government inform prior to that to the court, number one, that the Meitei's demand for ST status had been denied twice by the government. Once in 1981 by the Registrar General of India, and once in 2001 by Ibochi government, who was also a Meitei. So why
Hmm.
couldn't they firstly tell the court that this demand has been considered and rejected twice in the past? And secondly, why couldn't they explain it to the public at large? The court order came sometimes in April, sometimes in mid-April 23, and violence started on 3rd May. Why couldn't the why couldn't the period between those two dates couldn't be utilized by the government to explain to people that this was that their contention that Meiteis are being given ST status is incorrect? So
Hmm.
and thereafter the sort of connivance of the State Reserve Police and India Reserve Battalion in getting their armory looted, it can't happen so easily. More than 6,000 weapons have been looted. I don't say that only one community may have looted; they have looted everywhere. But then this, if these weapons are not brought back by giving the central security forces a free hand, the violence is not going to stop. And therefore, removal of Biren in itself is not going to bring peace. Consensus chief minister means what? If he is from Meitei community, Kukis will again object. If he is from a Kuki community, Meiteis will object. So find a third person. Maybe a Naga leader can become a chief minister. But then it is now beyond the state government to control situation. The central government has to intervene. President rule must be imposed. Central security forces must be given a free hand, and Armed Forces Special Power Act must be applied uniformly throughout the state without any differences. It was being heavily resisted by Biren for imposition of ASPA in the valley area, which was dominated by Meiteis. So bringing about peace by just simple removal of Biren will not happen. Some concrete steps will have to be taken. Disarm, recover arms, disarm the militant organizations like Arambai Tengul and Meitei Lepun and other Kuki, KYKL and other Kuki, many Kuki insurgent groups. Disarm them, demobilize them, and thereafter proceed further. That is bare minimum before any kind of negotiations can start, before the two warring communities decide to come to the table and discuss with each other.
Let me get Dr. Rojesh to respond to that. Dr. Rojesh, SK Sood says removing Biren Singh by itself is now at this point cosmetic. How do you respond? What's the way ahead?
No, I agree. No, it was a supplementary point that the point which I was actually saying. Of course, that the disarming of the community, both the communities, is very important. And I'm a little suspicious that the government of India will agree to disarm the Kuki militant because they have certain agenda. And now many observers in Manipur now saying that now Kuki arms groups have been used against as a part of the counterinsurgency operation in not only in Manipur but also in Burma. Now, recently in last month, there are reports that the KNAB have actually attacked in the BAN organization in Manipur, and of course, in the media report says that in the KNAB, among the dead people from the Aadhaar card, it was reported in media that some people are from Shochanpur. That means that these Kuki armed groups were used as also part of the counterinsurgency operations in Manipur and also in Burma. So that is how this conflict is continuing, and the silence of Prime Minister has a conspiracy, because if this happened to any part of India, it would never allow to happen. But unfortunately, it allows to happen in Manipur because there is, without the some objective, I think government of India will not be a silent spectator as now we are today. Because recently in last month, the DC office and the SP office was attacked in Kangpokpi district in last month, and the SP himself was also injured, and that was done by the Kuki armed militant. But was there any action taken? No. Recently, in 3-4 days back, in Kangpokpi, in the headquarters, the Kuki militant are playing with AK-47 rifles and M16 rifle with football ground. If this happened to Jammu and Kashmir and anywhere, the army and other people would have already rushed and they would have done the combing operation, but nothing has been done. On 11 November, the Kuki armed militant, they reportedly came and attacked one village, and they have abducted 6 women and children, as you already know. and the CRPM was attacked. And after that, 4 days of abduction, the government or army did not do anything. As the
No, but what
honorable,
is but what is the way forward? Because I've
no,
heard both. What is the way
no, my
forward?
point, the way forward is basically saying that this, by replacing the chief minister, the first is that now the home minister is now direct responsibility of rule of law in Manipur, and the prime minister is also
Well, not right.
responsible.
Well,
uh,
not right now. There's no president's rule. Right now, he's the caretaker chief minister,
no,
and they may have another.
these are
This is
all
not
the game.
president's rule. Yeah,
No,
but this is
look,
not president's
Barkha,
rule.
no, these are all part of the game. These are all part of the game. That is why we have been saying that take someone charge of Manipur and take
Okay,
action against whoever lawbreakers, whether it is a Meitei or whether it's a Kuki, whoever have the gun
fair
should be
enough.
disarmed. But I don't, you will never listen from any of our other community that they want disarm, because they only say separate administration, union territory by attacking a community. You will never listen from any of these
Okay.
spokesperson from the
Okay, I think that
community.
I
They
think
want
that's a fair
disarm.
I think that's a fair point. Let me ask Gladys straight away that what Dr. Rajesh says is that at least start with the disarming of civilians. What Mr. S.K. Sood said, you cannot have thousands of weapons in civilian hands and hope for normalcy to return in any place. Right? So if the Meitei community representatives like Dr. Rajesh are willing to say, start disarming, we need somebody in the Kuki community to also say the same.
Barkha, when it comes to Dr. Rajesh, he's a liar. So his point, I will not take it seriously, because once we had a press conference and he say in Imphal Valley, no cookies or houses and churches were touched or attacked. So he's a liar. His point is never valid. I
Okay,
don't
okay,
want to
let's
listen
stay
to
on
him.
the
But
issue. Let's not personally attack each other.
no, it's okay. But
Let's not
yes.
personally attack
So
each
when it
other.
comes to
He's not
Sood,
personally
sir,
attacked you. You also don't personally attack him.
no,
Please, Gladys.
he's a liar, and that's
Okay,
the
okay,
truth
but
of it.
let's not
Okay.
use slurs
And
on my
so
show.
when it
Yeah.
comes to Suji, what he say, 100% I agree. Put president rule, okay? Recover all those arms and weapons, and then catch all the Arambai Tengol. So Dr. Rogers, your Arambai Tengol and your Meitei Lipan roaming around with all these machine gun. Have you not seen them? And also, have you not heard about the Ribam incident? You're only talking about the Meitei area. You're so pro-Meitei, okay? And also, I strongly supported President rule to be there. All arms and looted weapon has to be recovered. Give Central Forces a full freedom to take care of Manipur. He rightly says that no Meitei can take care. This is a failed state. The Manipur state is totally, completely failed even under Biren Singh. So then I don't know what Biren is going to do as a caretaker. He should be taken to task, put him behind bar. Really, that is the only thing that he deserves right now. And also, I
Okay,
don't
but
see
you
any
didn't
much changes.
answer.
I
But
don't see
okay, okay, okay. But are you?
yes.
Oh, what about disarming civilians? You didn't answer the
This,
question.
yes, and then he also talked about Kuki
No, I
militants.
am asking
He knows
you.
that
I
the
am
Sood
asking
stand with the
you.
government. He knows
I
that the Sood
am.
stand with the
I
government.
am asking
Yes,
you. I am
yes.
asking you about the disarming of civilians.
Yes, if President rule come, everything will be clean. That is why we've been praying for President rule from day one. Why don't we give our men in uniform control over this lawless state? What else we still hoping of alternative government, or why are we even thinking of the rest of the option? And we are talking Burma and so many other things. The main point is Biren and his militia are the first person who started this genocide. Put him to task. What about his
Okay.
audio leak? 20,
Okay.
93% of his audio is authentic. So let's say 100%. Why are we so protecting about him? If Biren was from any other party, he'll not get this kind of questioning. That's 100% sure. So let's put President rule. We've been saying this
Okay.
right from day one.
I have to give the closing word to SK Sood. SK
Yes.
Sood, with this kind of divide between the two communities, the way they look at the same issues, who is going to build bridges? How are the bridges between the two people, where there's even an invisible line where the people from the hill areas don't go to Imphal, the people from Imphal don't go to the hill areas? Who is going to build the bridges?
I totally agree with this kind of attitude. It is going to be very, very difficult to build bridges.
Yeah.
But then things have to be resolved. And therefore, in my view, the government should go about identifying independent organizations and individuals, including the third tribe, that is Naga tribes, who have so far kept themselves at equidistance from each other,
Yeah.
including the leaders from that community. And having worked there in Chudachandpur on 2 tenures, I know that Gaon Budas are a respected lot. If we sort of rope in Gaon Budas to convince their own respective communities to
Yeah.
come to terms with each other, I think we can achieve some progress. But then before that, the society has to be disarmed, weapons have to be taken out, and uh, whichever militant organization is there, whether it is Kuki, whether it is Naga, or Nagas so far not there, but even those, or Meitei terrorist organizations, they have to be totally demobilized, they have to be controlled. You cannot have a situation where an organization gives the diktat to all the elected legislators to come to a meeting and toe their line. This is what happened in January last year when Narambai Tengol called all the legislators from Manipur. So removal of Biren is the first step. Disarming the society is the second step. And then third is over 10,000 FIRs which are there. None of them has been, probably not even, what I heard last was not even 6% of them have been investigated, or even investigation. So unless you bring closure to the people who have suffered due to violence, whether they are cookies or whether they are Meiteis, how can they come together
Absolutely.
for talk? So so
Absolutely.
so first thing is to convince people of different communities separately, involve third party, and then bring them both to a table together to talk to each other and resolve issues. So that is how the progress has to be achieved. But then for that, symbolic acts. I had when I had shared my article yesterday with somebody, that General Saab commented, "बहुत देर कर दी जनाब जाते जाते." So, I mean, something which should have happened on 3rd May, or at least after those two ladies from a community were paraded naked, he should have gone, he should have been kicked out. Allowing him to resign is taking a very soft stance. He should have been kicked out and uh, tried for his connivance in the entire episode.
Strong words there. Dr. Rajesh, I saw your hand go up. I just want to quickly ask you, so that this doesn't become a slugfest between you and Gladdy, this suggestion from Mr. Sood that let the Nagas or the village elders be involved, would you support it?
Yeah, I mean, like, as you know, the first Chief Minister after the Manipur became statehood in 1972 was a Muslim, and the Risankar Singh was the longest, was the Chief Minister from Tangkhul community. So from the Meitei community also, we don't have any problem. On even we also sometime earlier also thought that the cookies from Kuki, many of the respected members were become a cabinet minister, and there was no Chief Minister from Kuki, and even Kuki would also be one of the chief minister in earlier time, where before this problem started. Of course,
Okay.
Naga or anyone can be a chief minister, because as you all know that Manipur is a 34 recognized tribes are there, and we are actually still saying that the coexistence, and Manipur is a hill area, and it's a hill region and hill state, and it's a small valley. It's just part of the mountainous region. British tried to divide between hills and valley during the colonial time. Unfortunately, government of India did not actually have attempt to bridge between these British
Right.
policy. Rather, they are actually strengthening this divide and rule. So our suggestion is that not only with but also the autonomous district council should also be empowered, because this is one institution where without any communalization of the development, this all the district can be developed. Unfortunately, the incumbent governments and the last government, they are not empowering this thing. So with from this
Okay.
moment, we want to actually propose, even we have already earlier proposed that the fund which has been given to the autonomous district council is very less. It is less than 100 200 crore. But why can't you actually start from 2000
Okay.
crore being given from the state government and the 2000 crore from the central government? Then you can start we can start
Okay.
the kind of resource distribution.
I think
So-
before any of this happens, we need disarming of civilian populations in
Yeah.
both Kuki and Meitei communities. I think we can all agree on that. I think we need people who can bring both communities to the table. Gladdy, very quickly, and then Mr. Sood gets the last word. I have to close. Please keep it brief. Yes.
Yes, Barkha, no matter what happened, whether Biren stay, Biren come, doesn't matter. Our political stand of separate administration stays with us. We have to be separated for our killer for security reason. We deserve, a life right to live. And our stand, the Kuki's stand on political demand stays the same. There's nothing changed on that part. And also, Sioux are already disarmed. So Kuki, disarming is already done by the government.
No. I'm not talking about the Kuki
I want to close with by saying that our political demand stays the same, that we are still asking for a separate administrator, totally separated. We can live as a good neighbor, but never under Meitei is what our stand.
Okay, but just to clarify, the disarming that we're talking about is not the Kuki Sioux groups. We are talking about the looting of the armory after 3rd May, when farmers, students in both communities have weapons. I'm talking about that disarming.
Yes, that's the reason why AFSPA has to be, provided equal in all over the state, and also President rule has to be brought in.
Mr. Sood,
yes.
Closing comment.
My recommendation is impose President's rule, impose AFSPA, let the forces get a free hand to operate against any kind of militant or unlawful person. Bring closure to the people who have suffered by properly investigating the FIRs which have been lodged. If necessary, bring in central agencies to investigate those, and finally bring them to the table, and also see that the tribal communities in the remote hill areas who are deprived of proper means of livelihood do not fall to drug cultivation by providing them alternative means of livelihood, like rubber plant, medicinal plant, and so many other things. And also look into the aspect of land reforms carefully, because that is one of the causes of the strife in those areas. So I think these steps, short term, ensure that there is no violence. Long term, those steps can simultaneously be taken.
It needs I thank you, Mr. Sood. It needs a person of vision and compassion to, first of all, bring some sort of dialogue. Some intra-Manipur dialogue is the need of the hour, alongside the disarming of civilian population on both sides. Farmers and students, students should be in school, farmers should be in their fields. They should not be carrying guns. And that is something I say from experience on the ground. We leave it there. Dr. Rajesh, Gladdy, and SK Sood, thank you. And to our audience, thank you, and see you soon.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.